A quick show of hands, who has ever climbed a mountain before? Anyone? You got a couple? All right, good. You'll get the whole idea of how exhausting it is to climb a mountain. I've done a couple myself. The last one was the Mount of Transfiguration. That would have been annoying, so we're going to switch. The Mount of Transfiguration, where Jesus transfigured himself with Elijah, Moses, my classmates and I decided that we wanted to climb that mountain instead of ride up the bus. Well, it was a good idea, young men climbing up the mountain, but we were in our clerics and church shoes, and it was hot, so it was very, very exhausting. But man, that view, looking over all of Israel, and just to imagine Peter seeing that view and then turning and seeing the greatest view, which is Christ transfigured. It was quite something. It was worth that climb. We hear a lot about a mountain in our first reading, and the mountain was very significant in the time of the Jewish people. In fact, all of the ancient world, because on just a natural level, a mountain provided stability and refuge. Think of anyone who's played King of the Hill back when you were kids. If you were on top, you were in control, and everyone wanted to be on top and be in control. But on a supernatural level, the mountain is a place of encounter with God. See, the mountain is the highest place man can go to reach, again, back in the ancient days before skyscrapers. But it was also the place where they could reach God, or God could come down and be with them. So it was a place of encounter with the living God. And we hear in this first reading how Isaiah talks about this mountain, and the context that he's writing in is that Israel is a mess. In fact, it's on the brink of falling apart. And in fact, if you read chapter 25, all the chapters surrounding it is just on and ongoing predictions of woe to all the countries around Israel and Israel itself. And yet God makes this promise in the midst of all this predictions of woe, that the mountain of the Lord, Jerusalem, would be God's mountain again, and there the Israelites would find refuge and would again encounter God. And this one line that stands out among the rest, our God will come to save us. And brothers and sisters, that good news echoes throughout time to us today. Because God has indeed come to save us in the person of Jesus Christ. Our God, Jesus Christ, has come into the world. He's made himself incarnate, made himself human, and not even just come down to the mountain. No, he goes below the mountain. He goes not only to meet us, but he meets those who had died before and releases them from hell and brings them to heaven. And that's how he saves us, through his cross, his death, and his resurrection. But that news isn't just for the people back then. It's just a matter-of-fact statement for us today. No, this good news should propel us in this 2020 where it's kind of foolish, brothers and sisters, I'm sorry to say, that things are going to get better. But we shouldn't be despairing. In fact, we should have hope, because God continues to meet us, not on some geographical location like a mountain, but no, the mountain of our souls. But we have to grow up and meet him. And how do we do that? We create space, quiet, silence, so that we can listen to him. And then we are open with him. And that can be difficult, because we bring everything to him, including our biggest pains, our biggest sins, our biggest joys. But God wants it all. He wants to encounter us where we're at. And then we remain with him on that mountain, even if it's for a short time, but we receive that peace, that good news that he wants us to hear, that will strengthen us to be able to go out and live our lives with confidence, even in the midst of our world seemingly falling apart. I don't know if you ever noticed in the church that probably everywhere you go, in any big church like here at St. Eleanor's or the cathedral, but the altar is set up on a platform. You have to go up steps to go to the mountain. And it symbolizes how each and every day the priest goes up to the Lord on the mountain to once again make him present, body, blood, soul, and divinity, so that he, in the Eucharist, body, blood, soul, and divinity, can meet us. We can receive him. We can see him. And we can have him in our souls. Don't miss this opportunity to receive him, but also just to make space for him, to encounter him, and to hear that good news again. Our God will come to save us. Our God has come to save us. And so with that good news in your heart to strengthen you, that protection, that promise that he'll be with you, then go out and, like the servants in the gospel, go and bring people in. Encourage them with that good news so that we may all journey up the mountain together, the mountain which is this life struggle. And we can experience the promises that God has made us, this wine, this food, this protection, this destroying of death. We can experience that together in its fullness in heaven forever.